6 o'clock right here on Big Breakfast. Today FM, today's hit music.
Hey, I'm Pauline.
And I'm Alan. Tune in to The Breakfast Show on Today FM with Pauline and I every weekday morning
From 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
Today FM, today's hit music.
In this bulletin, Fiji Airways CEO Stefan Pichler takes up new appointment in Germany. No new work at casino site in Nandi. And workshop addresses violence against women with disabilities. Good evening and welcome to FBC News. I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. Fiji Airways Chief Executive Officer Stefan Pichler is leaving the national airline just 1 year after taking up the appointment. Pichler has been headhunted to return to Germany, where he will take charge of Air Berlin in February. Christopher Chand reports.
Pichler's departure is surely going to leave a vacuum. The 57-year-old is returning home after being lured by the German government to be the new CEO of Air Berlin. This morning, he explained to the media why he is leaving the national carrier.
The call by the Office of the Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany, this was back in September, urging me to come home to serve as the Managing Director and CEO of a large company with a lot of employees in Europe, called Air Berlin. This company is not in very good shape. So there are different things. I won't elaborate on the details, but it needs a dramatic turnaround.
Pichler commented on how emotional the decision has been for him, saying it is with tears in his eyes that he has to leave the most rewarding job in his career.
Somehow I was caught in a big dilemma. Finally, I've made the call to respect the call by the government and to take this job in next year.
Fiji Airways will immediately begin the hunt for a successor to lead the airline into the next chapter of its history.
We are now recruiting a CEO for succession, which means we make sure, and I'll make sure, that we have somebody who is able to motivate the team, who is a team player, who interacts with our staff, because that's what we need to do. That's the secret of our success.
Pichler will remain at the helm for another 3 months. Fiji Airways has lost its second CEO within a span of 2 years. The national airline's financial position is at one of its strongest. The hope is they will maintain this despite Pichler's decision to leave. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
100 Sands Limited has now gone 2 years past its deadline to complete the proposed first Fiji casino project, and they have not shown any signs of progress since April to start the development. Christopher Chand once again.
There has been very little movement on the ground at this site in Nandi in the past 6 months. Over that period, FBC News has sought updates from the developers, 100 Sands Limited, about the casino project. Yesterday, 100 Sands Limited CEO Tim Manning, who is based in New Zealand, responded to our questions very briefly, stating, "I am not quite ready to make a press release. Your below statements are so incorrect that I thought I should correct these inaccuracies. 100 Sands has the site just outside Denarau under contract and has full and legal possession of the site. No deadlines have been missed or extended." Manning is the new spokesman taking over from Larry Clonch, who gave these statements in the past. In July 2013,
actual license we've had less than 2 years, and in casino history we're making record time in going from having the license to starting construction. So if you look at it in that light, we've really done a fantastic job, and it'll go down in history as being very, very fast.
and March 31st, 2014.
Have you collected enough funding now to complete the project?
Yeah, the funding will come in steps. So we have the first phase, and then we'll go to the second phase. But now that we're doing this, nothing can stop us. So.
Manning says they are committed to building 2 casinos in Fiji as per their license, and the one in Denara will open next year. Tourism Minister Fayaz Koya referred our queries to the Attorney General Ayah Sayed Qayyum, who has returned from Geneva but could not be reached for a comment. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
A Fijian woman is dead and a man is in hospital after a reported domestic dispute in suburban Auckland, New Zealand. Police were called to Mount Wellington by occupants of a home where a domestic dispute was happening last night. When they arrived, they found a 47-year-old woman was dead and a man with injuries to his arms and body. NZ City News reports the man is awaiting surgery in Middlemore Hospital. Detective Inspector Chris Cahill says police have launched a homicide inquiry. The Pacific Disability Forum and the Fiji Disabled People's Federation have rolled out a toolkit that helps communities address violence against women with disabilities. Training on the use of the toolkit is underway in Suva, and the organisers hope participants will learn how to use the Disability Inclusive Toolkit in their respective organisations. Alan Stoltz reports.
About 8% of the total number of reported cases of violence against women in the country are committed against women with disabilities. Organizations like the Pacific Disability Forum and the Fiji Disabled People's Federation want to bring this statistic down.
Initiate this 4-day workshop so that women with disabilities can come and talk freely and discuss their problems, and we can see the road forward.
The toolkit, which was compiled last year, shares people's experiences about domestic violence.
Sometimes people look at our disability, and that is a starting point of where they started to go against us in looking at the different disability that persons that we have.
Organizers hope that the participants will implement the toolkit.
At the end of this workshop, we would like to see the sustainability of the toolkit when the project ends. We would like to see the partnership of EVO organizations together, working together with the DPOs, Disabled People Organizations, implementing the toolkit.
The toolkit is being seen as a guide for women with disabilities to help them access facilities and to know what their rights are when they find themselves in violent situations. Ellen Stalls, FBC News.
Coming up after the break, a research project has found that a majority of Fijians feel women are underrepresented in government.
Nama jike rau mena tolu kena betu. Ena vea kabi, moli jike na porombuka. Gori ena lali ne kabi. Bula FM, number 2 ena sere.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. 2 tertiary students have appeared in the Suva Magistrates Court today for allegedly stabbing a taxi driver last weekend. Vanuatu students Samuela Alasia and Vishal Chand of Suva have been jointly charged with a count of aggravated robbery. They allegedly stabbed a taxi driver at Suva Point around 2 a.m. on Sunday. The taxi driver was treated for injuries at the CWM hospital. Alasia and Chand will reappear in court on the 14th of this month. Police are still looking for 2 other students involved in the alleged attack. Now, a survey to be released publicly tomorrow reveals that a majority of Fijians feel women are underrepresented in government. The research project, Public Perception of Women in Leadership, was undertaken by the Fiji Women's Forum late last year. Shireen Latta reports.
81% respondents agreed that women are underrepresented in Fiji. 72% people think it would be better for the country if there were women in national government.
The Fiji Women's Forum wanted to find out more about the public perception of women in leadership. So basically this research is something that we hope to get more information of what do people in Fiji want from leaders and how do they understand leadership and to what extent do perspectives vary by.
The survey was conducted late last year. The majority of respondents identified cultural barriers, discrimination and a lack of support at community level as major reasons for fewer women than men standing in elections. 17% women would prefer to vote for a woman.
The perception study had interviewed around 1,211 men and women. They were from rural and urban areas on VT level and Vano level. There were 25 focus group discussions with a total of 187 participants.
The situation has changed now after the general election. There are now 7 women in parliament. 2 of the women are cabinet ministers, 1 is the leader of opposition, 2 assistant ministers, and the remaining 2 are opposition parliamentarians. 67% respondents believe Fiji will have a female prime minister within the next 10 years, while 65% people said they would like to see this happen. Sharin Lata, FBC News.
The new $2 coin that went into circulation yesterday has received some positive support from the public. Watisoni Rekandroka tells us more.
A day after its release, the new coin has drawn favorable remarks from consumers.
New coin is bigger and good for us to give the change. And small one was very hard for like $1 coin and $2 was similar. This one is a bigger coin. Good for us.
The new coin replaces the one currently in circulation. The RBF changed the coin in response to complaints from the public about the difficulties in distinguishing between the current $1 and $2 coins.
I always give the wrong change while serving customers here at the canteen because I can't distinguish the old $2 and $1 coin. With this new $2 coin, it's good because it's bigger than the old $2 coin.
The new $2 coin is slightly larger and thicker than the existing ones. The designs on both sides remain unchanged, but have been raised slightly so that these can be easily felt.
The new $2 coin is very nice, good size. The old one is mixed up with the $1 coins. I like it, it's bigger and good size than the old one.
These old $2 coins will remain in circulation until December 31st. After that date, members of the public will need to exchange the old ones for new coins at the nearest bank. Watisoni Rekandroka, FBC News.
Well, Melbourne Cup sure did stop our nation in the last hour. Chanel Steven was out today to find out what made this year's Melbourne Cup special here at home.
Punters crowded the betting houses as early as 8 a.m. this morning. Grant's Waterhouse betting house was packed with punters, some here for the first time.
I spent $20 from a better #1 horse from Japan. His name is Admirakti.
I can tell you the name of the horse, but I spent about $10 to $20. And because that's the only race I come to do the betting. Only once a year, Melbourne Cup.
What's Melbourne Cup without wine, hats, fascinators, and food? This year it was even bigger. A Melbourne Cup fundraiser was organized at the Grand Pacific Hotel by various organizations including the Australian High Commission and the Rotary Club. First-timers were also part of the festivities.
It's my first Melbourne Cup, so I'm from London, but I think it's the whole idea of getting dressed up, wearing fascinating lovely clothes for the races. It's been going for generations.
I've never been to the Melbourne Cup, but I have been to the Royal Ascot, so I'm just trying to bring a little bit of excitement and fun to it and play with it a bit.
And have you placed a bet in the Melbourne Cup?
I haven't. I have no idea who's even racing, unfortunately. For me it was about the outfit, but I do like horses.
I came down to spend a Melbourne Cup in Fiji, but
as a visiting family on Diwali Day too. So I heard they're having a function here. It's about 75 bucks Fijian. So I want to join with the people here from back home.
I would like to bet on a few horses. I'm one of the organizers as well, so I'm going to be running around. But eventually, I would like to have a bit of fun as well. Yeah.
Which horse?
I don't know. I have to figure that one out. Maybe a couple of $100. Yeah. This is my first time betting, so let's see how it goes.
I haven't even looked at any horses, but sometimes I think the best way is just to pick anything. Yeah, definitely.
A fashion show was also set up. Winners or losers, no doubt the celebrations will continue tonight. Chanel Shivan, FBC News.
And now for news on the actual race. Jamie, there was a tragedy at the Melbourne Cup race.
That's right, Amrita. Well, the race is finished and German horse Protectionist has won the race. The Japanese horse and also a pre-race favorite, Admire Rakti, collapsed shortly after the race, while a fellow runner, Araldo, is fighting for his life. We'll take a look at this after the break.
यू ट्रेन से मिर्ची एफएम पर रफ्तार में मैं आपके हम सफर साथी कृष्णील शामिल हो चुका हूं और फिजी में विदेश में आप जहां कहीं पर भी हमें सुन रहे हैं कृष्णील का प्यार आप तमाम दोस्तों तक पहुंचे। हेलो गाइस, मैं हूं डीजे कृष्णील। आप हमें सुन सकते हैं मिर्ची एफएम रफ्तार में मंडे टू फ्राइडे शाम 3 से लेकर रात 7 तक हम आपको रॉक कराएंगे। मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट। अब दिल करता है हौले हौले से मैं तो खुद को गले लगा।
Welcome back. Protectionist won the 2014 Melbourne Cup this afternoon, becoming the first German horse to do so. The joint second favourite burst through in the last 200 metres to win the $6.2 million race. Red Cadeau was second and Who Shot the Barman finished third. But the race took a tragic turn with Admire Rakti dying and fellow runner Araldo fighting for life. Race favourite Admire Rakti died after collapsing back at the stalls just 5 minutes after finishing last in the cup. In further misfortune, smart stayer Araldo was returning to the mounting yard when a young boy waved the white flag in the horse's face. He leapt forward, jumping the steel rail and shattered a cannon bone in the process. New Zealand Sevens rugby stars Lotte Raikambula and Tomasi Dama Jr. will be part of the 2014 Bailey's Coral Coast tournament this year. The two will team up with Lomai Viti, while defending champions Yamadhia have been grouped into the pool of death and face a daunting task of reclaiming the title when the dust settles at Lawanga Park next week. Talindada Kadaka has more.
Stuart Lead coming through.
Yamadhia, with the services of national rep Semi Kunatani, has been drawn into a tough pool. The Nabosa-based side will front up against tournament favourites Red Rock as well as Gecko's Lomai Viti from New Zealand, which features renowned Fijian stars Lotte Raikambula and Tomasi Dama.
Yamadhia, the defending champions, they come up against Red Rock, the two-time champion in their pool. And then another team in that group is Gecko's Lomai Viti, who are expected to feature two of the greats of the New Zealand Sevens team, Tomasi Dama and Lotte Raikambula. So to see all of those players and all of those teams in just one pool on the first couple of days at the Coral Coast Sevens is going to be a real treat.
10 overseas teams are registered to compete in the 3-day tournament and will go head-to-head against the best teams in the country. A highlight of the tournament will be the presence of players in the Vodafone Fiji Sevens and Telecom Fijiana squads.
To really raise the standards so that everyone benefits. As you know, Ben Ryan, the National Sevens coach, will be there selecting his team for Dubai and South Africa from this tournament. It's important that we create the right environment for all the players to perform for national honours.
The 40 teams in the men's and women's grades will compete for the total prize money of $75,000. Zalendo Dakadak, FBC Sports.
More than 300 players and coaches are expected to turn up in Suva for the FIBA Oceania Under-19 Championships in December. This will be one of the biggest international basketball meets to be played here, and Basketball Fiji says it is ready to host the tournament. Josephine Navula has the details.
With a huge number of athletes from around the region participating at the Oceania Championships, Basketball Fiji is looking forward to hosting them.
Village will open on 30th of November. We'll be accommodating teams at the USP at the university campus site. Also would like to acknowledge Tourism Fiji, who will be providing support in transportations from Nadi to Suva for international teams arriving at the Nadi airport.
Omau adds the preparation for the tournament is well underway.
Aero thing that we're working on is also the under-19 team preparations, which is also important because we are the host country and we also would like our national teams to do well at the event.
Basketball Fiji has also been receiving tremendous support in build-up to the tournament.
Well, BLK coming on board, it's a big boost. It boosts the morality of the players. It's also boosts the morality of the federation and also builds our confidence.
The championship will be held from the 1st of December to the 6th at the Vodafone Arena in Suva. Josephine Navula, FBC Sports.
Preparations are underway for the annual Fiji Sports Hall of Fame and Fiji Olympic Order dinner later this month. Fasanok announced that BSP will act as presenting partner for the prestigious event, which will be held on November 21st at Novotel in Lamy. The Fiji Sports Hall of Fame event began in 1990, honoring sports people that have stamped their mark in the local and international arena. Present at yesterday's announcement was renowned athlete and 1994 inductee Samu Yavala.
Sports participation then, it was only for fun. We love participating with our friends. I didn't realize that there are people looking, recognize what we were doing and allowing us this kind of opportunity to come through.
We want to recognize the achievements that people like Mr. Yavala have done as an athlete. And secondly, at the time now when we have so many athletes preparing for the 2015 Pacific Games, we want to promote people like Mr. Yavala as role models.
That was your sports for tonight. Good evening.
Establishing a business here will soon become much easier with the creation of a universal form that Investment Fiji is looking into introducing. The single window clearance system is an online system that will include the amalgamation of all the requirements, making it easier for people to come in and do business here. Alan Stoltz reports.
Thank you very much for that.
Investment Fiji Executive Chairman Truman Bradley says the development of a new digital system is vital.
A quick side note is that when we started this about 2 years ago, there was roughly 4,000 line items between all Tier 1 agencies. That's name, address, PO box, all of the requirements. We've now got it down to about 150 to 180, depending on whether it's a sole trader or a public liability, public company or a private company. So what happens is all of those government agencies have independent requirements. By going to a digital system, it all becomes one universal form that every screen looks at, whether it's immigration, Reserve Bank, FERCA, or the company's office. This will streamline investment applications.
Bradley says the move will streamline investment applications and expose other areas of potential growth.
Investment Fiji plan to undertake trade investment missions to MSG countries later this year, like November when we're in Papua New Guinea. Australia and New Zealand are also underexploited in our mind, and we intend to concentrate on further developing these opportunities. There is a higher potential for the export of Fijian products to these two countries.
Working to capitalize on the work of overseas missions, Investment Fiji will be looking closer to home.
Trade missions have served as an important avenue for government to identify and promote potential investment and export opportunities. These missions have also assisted local businesses to enhance capacity and skills, improve access to capital, develop partnerships and identify lucrative niche markets.
With the completion of this new system, Investment Fiji is confident that it will have a robustly positive impact on business and hopefully attract more investment. Ellen Stalls, FBC News.
Well, as for today's conditions, Suva and Savu Savu had some cloudy periods, but generally a fine day. In the west, Nandi, Lautoka, Ba and Lambasa in the north all had fine weather. They can expect a chance of showers this evening and overnight. Today's temperature was a little warmer than we've been getting recently. Suva hit 30 degrees, in the west Nandi 29, Lautoka 31 degrees and Ba reached 33. The highest in the country today, while the north Savu was 29 and Lambasa 32 degrees. As for tomorrow's forecast, calls for a chance of occasional showers throughout the day in Suva and Savu. Well, that's just a chance. The rest of the centres can expect much of the same. Now recapping the main points again. Fiji Airways CEO Stefan Pikla will take up his new appointment as CEO for Air Berlin in February next year. A Fijian woman is dead and a man is in hospital after a reported domestic dispute in suburban Auckland, New Zealand. And 100 Sands Limited has now gone 2 years past its deadline to complete the proposed first Fiji casino project. On to this week's poll question. Should Fijian rugby players put club before country? You can visit our FBC website to take part. Do send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News or via Twitter @FBC News or simply #FBC News. That's tonight's bulletin. Join us same time tomorrow. Good evening.